Hi everyone, Michael here from Silo Storage. If you've ever thought of purchasing a storage or micro warehouse unit, then today's FAQ session is going to be for you. So I'm going to unpack each of the different types of units that we have: storage units, micro warehouse units, and warehouse units. And I'm going to unpack them, and I'm going to talk about a number of things that are really important if you're considering one of these investments, okay? So the type of typical tenants that we get in each of those units. I'm going to talk about the types of leases that we typically get, either a storage agreement or a commercial lease. I'm going to talk about the conditions in those leases. I'm also going to talk about what your expected yields are for each of those types of units. I'm going to talk about the capital growth that we've achieved in the past, in our past projects. It's super exciting. Spoiler alert, there's some triple figure gains in there. And I'm going to unpack for you as well, are these going to be right for you? Okay, so again, if you're thinking about buying one of these, then this is the FAQ session for you. So who am I? My name is Michael Perry. I'm the director of Silo Storage. Been in the industry for 10 years. Have developed under the Silo brand 3 projects in the south coast of New South Wales. Over 300 units now. I manage for investors, and over 300 happy investors getting paid every month. And have also sold over 300 of these units as well. So I can speak to this. I'm experienced in this industry, and so really looking forward to going through this session with you. So let's jump in right now. Why invest in storage or micro warehouse unit? Okay, this is one of our most commonly asked questions. And so let's start high level. Okay, why would you look at an investment of this type? Now, when I first started looking at creating the Silo brand and looking into these projects, what I was looking for myself was an investment that had high capital growth and high returns, high yields, but it was secure. Okay. Now, you look at the storage industry, which is what we're talking about here. We're talking about storage units and micro warehouse units, which I'll explain a little more further in a second. The storage industry has been around for the last 30 years. It's safe, it's secure, okay? It grows at over 1% per year, which is quite good for a big market like that. And look, it's never going to go away, okay? Its demand itself is created by the population in a local area, okay? So if you have a city or a small town, anywhere there's people, they need to store things, whether they're a person storing personal goods or a business who needs to store different types of equipment. Okay, so that industry has been around for 30 years or more, and it will probably be forever in the history. Okay, because people own things that they don't want to store at their own house or just don't have enough space. Okay, so it is a secure industry. Now, what we do at Silo, which is a little bit different, is you can own a unit yourself. So it operates exactly like a storage facility because we build it as a storage facility. The only difference between the other freehold brands out there that you're probably used to is that we build these heavy duty out of concrete and then we strata title them. Okay, so think of a residential unit complex. They build that big building and it gets strata titled into 50 units. Same, but for storage. Okay, so same setup. We do it, create it as simple as possible. We don't like to make anything more complex than it needs to be. Okay, so why invest in it? Okay, it's a solid industry. It's been around forever and it will be around for the foreseeable future. Okay, so it's very safe and secure. Now, the next question that we get are, who are the tenants? So we talk about 3 different types of products. At Silo, we produce 3 different types of products. The smaller units, which are 3 meters by 4 meters, like half a car garage. Most of the time they're used by personal storage for jet skis, furniture, when people are moving house, renovating, that type of thing. cars, trailers for the drive-in types. And then our next step up is for micro warehouses. Okay, so people who rent those, again, can be personal users for bigger items like boats and caravans, or multiple cars like prestige cars or vintage cars to store. If you don't have enough room at your house, they're the tenants. Or this emerging market, which has come out of the property market growing. Okay, so as the property market has grown in value, property prices have gone up, and so have rentals. And so some businesses that are starting from their home and they need that next step, that first space or a little bit more space for their businesses, might not be have enough cash flow for a large warehouse, which was traditionally their next step, or they just might not need that much space. Okay, so there's this little niche market that's emerged, and we call these micro warehouses. So it's for the small businesses, and you can see that on the second photo below. Small businesses like trades, personal storage, lighter items like multiple cars, large boats, cars, trucks, etc. Okay, and then our next product up is warehouses. So these are your traditional industrial warehouses, been around forever. Again, will be there, but a little bit of a market that's changing, because to purchase them, they're getting more expensive, and to rent them, they're getting more expensive. So those smaller businesses, online businesses, might not need that much space, or it just might not be the best fit. Okay. But common businesses are importers, online stores, trade businesses, cafes, and distilleries. Okay. So as I said, the biggest difference with what we do at Silo is those traditional markets like storage. You can now, we offer the product where you're able to own a unit yourself, and we manage it for you. Okay, so you don't have to know about storage or how to find tenants in that area. It's a turnkey solution, and we manage it for you. So what I wanted to put this last line in there, that we manage over 300 units, is just not to flex or anything, but just to let you know that I'm qualified enough to talk about this, okay, because I control the management company for Silo as well. Okay, so we know what we're talking about because we manage over 300 of these already. So let's dig down into these different types of units. And the first one is a storage unit. Okay, so we talked about these. These are the small units. Personal storage of furniture, boats, cars, trailers, jet skis, moving house, and renovators. Okay, now the unique thing that we do with these storage units is we provide power in each unit, and it's free solar power for the tenants forever. Okay, a great feature. And they all have lights as well. So yeah, they have tall roller doors, but great features like solar power and lights. And they also have common amenities. So our facilities, which I'll give you a little tour about in a second, have bathrooms, and in some of our newer projects, we're putting kitchenettes in as well for people to be able to fill up the jug, boil the jug, wash out their lunch containers, etc., if they're working there or just spending a bit of time there. Okay, so and all of our complexes you can access 24/7. So access really easy with these storage units. Okay, and so again, this is your standard type of storage product, especially the smaller units and the drive-in units, which you can see below. Now, these all come under a month-to-month storage agreement. The benefit of this is relative to a commercial lease agreement, is that we actually charge more per square meter, so more per month, than a long-term contract. So storage users don't want to be locked into a 3, 5, 10-year commercial storage agreement because it's a commercial property. They just wouldn't sign it because some of them, they don't know how long they're going to need the storage unit for. But our average tenancy is between 12 and 15 months, okay, for one of these small storage units. And we're able to, because it's a shorter term, we're able to charge more per month for that. Okay, so when again you compare these to commercial leases where the tenants do pay the outgoings, you're actually making more per month, And so you can pay the outgoings and get this pretty similar, very similar. I'm not going to say exactly the same, but in all cases, but very similar net outcome, a net return as a commercial lease. Okay. So very important to realize that you'll make more and you pay the outgoings out of that. Same, very similar net return compared to a commercial lease. Okay. There are benefits in a month-to-month storage agreement compared to a commercial lease as well, because if your tenants don't pay after 2 days, we can lock the unit and they can't get into it. After 42 days, we can actually sell their goods to recover costs and move them out. Now, it's much easier to evict a tenant if they're non-paying than a commercial lease. Very hard to get rid of them. Okay, so there are benefits of that. These shorter term personal storage tenants, there's a much larger customer pool than the commercial tenants. Okay, so that means that we can keep a high occupancy rate in all of our premises at Wollongong, which is our dedicated storage facility. We operate at 96, 97% rolling average all the time. So we keep it full, okay? And to relet a unit like this, if it comes up vacant, we know about in advance. And a lot of the time we have a waiting list to move people in. Or if we don't have a waiting list, it would only take us a couple of weeks to get them in. Okay, so for all those benefits. So yeah, it might be shorter term, but your overall outcome, you're still getting a very high occupancy rate. Okay, returns for these. Consistently of our product anyway, I can't speak for anyone else's, but for our product, if you buy off the plan, then we will guarantee a 7% return, okay, for up to 2 years or for 2 years. And then ongoing after that, the storage rental rate over time, over the long term, consistently goes up, okay? You have seasonal fluctuations that go a little bit like this, but over the long term, it's trending up. Now, I'm going to talk some facts here because we've got actual real data, not speculative, that our past projects, for example, Wollongong, some people who bought early on off the plan in that project and now getting over 10% net from their rental units, which shows a couple of things, really important things, that the rental market has grown over time. Okay, so the demand is higher than the supply. Very important to realize. This also shows that there's great market fundamentals, not only in that local area, but of this type of investment as I've got on there. Okay, so I know we're talking about tenants here, but just to give you a bit of a ballpark, these are very affordable, start at about $70,000 to $80,000 and go up to $200,000 for one of the driving units. Now, flipping this to the tenant scenario again, why they work so well as investments is for the small units, they only pay $200 a month. People don't miss that, okay? And the larger units that are the $1,000 a month, usually the businesses, okay? Or people who have prestige cars and they're fine to pay that. It's all secure for their big assets. Okay, so that's storage units. Now, let's talk. I'm actually going to show you a little video of our Wollongong complex. So everything that I've just talked about there, you're going to see here. So this is a working complex finished in 2021. It's a silo branded complex. You can see these are our micro warehouses, okay, or drive-in storage units. You can drive a car in, concrete, heavy duty built. These are the smaller storage units that we just talked about, $200 a month, $300 a month. All have power and lights that you can see in there. Very clean, neat and tidy, well lit. Security cameras all through the complex. It's gone are the days where you can have a dark, dingy storage complex. It has to be this level these days for people to want to rent there. So these are the drive-in units that you're seeing now. You can drive the car in. They're quite tall, 3.3 meters. So if you've got a lot of stuff for a business, these are fantastic for tenants, okay? And that's why they're such good investments. And there's 180 units in that complex. And again, we manage all of those. Most of them are investors, to tell you the truth. It operates exactly like a storage facility. The tenants don't know the difference. But you have a chance to own your own mini storage business, essentially, and we manage it for you. So that's why they're so popular. Okay, now let's talk about micro warehouses. So these are the next step up, a little bit bigger. Not a big warehouse with kitchenettes and bathrooms inside, not a storage unit, but in the middle. So as I said before, these are for small businesses like trades. In our latest project that we've just finished down in Huskisson in Jervis Bay, the people that have gone into these units as tenants, to air conditioning companies, a builder and renovation company, a guy storing a car, a guy storing a truck, and so all businesses, okay? They've signed up to 2-year leases, they pay outgoings, great tenants, low headache, perfect tenants, okay? And then we also have some personal storage, people who are storing their boats, doing renovations, storing furniture, and we charge them a little bit more per month than the longer term tenants, but they're happy. They were in there for 9 months. They finish the renovation, move their stuff out, we get more tenancy, okay? So again, these have solar power in the units. It's all free because we've got a big solar system on the roof. They have lights and common amenities. So if you're running your business out of there and you want to go to the bathroom, it's all there, okay? We've set this up very user-friendly for businesses because they might not be able to afford a warehouse, but they need their own space. That's where this niche market is developed. So 2 scenarios here. As I've just described, some people come in on that storage, personal storage agreement with, I won't go and list through all the benefits. You can go back in this video and have a look at those because it's the same as the storage one just before that I mentioned before. Or the second scenario is a commercial lease. So those businesses that I just talked about will come in on a 2-year lease minimum. They'll have rent increases annually. And the yields, if you bought one of these as an investor, are consistently 6% net and higher, okay? Because of those rent increases that happen every year and the payment of outgoings. They'll be even higher for past projects, not the ones that we're currently working on. You can actually get a 7% rental guarantee for 2 years guaranteed. So yeah, so high yields, okay? And then net figures. So now to give you a ballpark of buy-in costs, these are about 200 to 400,000, depending on the area, depending on what size you want, and which will also depend on what type of tenant will go in there. But one of the main benefits of this is you have a look, the tenants only pay between $900 and $1,300 a month. Now, if you're a business owner, that's very affordable for a functional space that you can access 24/7. It's got 10-meter wide driveways, so you can reverse any big vehicles in, 4-meter high roller doors, 3-meter wide roller doors. So access, very good, very functional for businesses. Those online businesses, those trades that don't need a warehouse, this is their product. Very affordable. Our tenants, when they saw this, the air conditioning companies and the builders, just like, oh my God, this is great. One of them even moved out of a warehouse unit into one of these because it's more affordable. So then the micro warehouses. So here's an example of our micro warehouse project. These are some smaller units in Wollongong. And this is our latest one in Huskisson. So you can see the size, the height, the depth, the width here, the access to be able to get into these units. Really roomy, really spacious. You can get into these 24/7. They've all got power, they've all got lights, very functional, and amenities on site. Okay, so very well set up for tenants. And there's a builder's truck, power outlet. Great. So this is a bit of a video about the Huskisson complex, okay? As I said, very roomy, very functional. I'm going to skip through this so that you don't get bored by it, but you can see this on our YouTube channel. Okay, it's a good looking bloke right there. But we've just finished this last year, December 2023, and is now about 90% full of tenants, 50% owner occupiers, 50% investors, self-managed super fund owners, personal investors. Great product, high demand. And I want to talk about capital growth as well on these, because we've just resold one of these units at about a 17% uplift in less than 12 months. So really, really good. But you can see the quality of build. We take great care in putting good quality products. We paint the outside of the buildings, keep it in good condition over the long term. We don't have to do that, but we do. And you can see how good it looks there. Okay, let's move on. So our last type of silo product that we were just talking about are industrial warehouses. Now, you just saw some of those in the video. They're the bigger ones with the mezzanine, the kitchenettes inside, the bathrooms inside, okay? Standard industrial warehouse, been around forever, will be around forever. But what we see now are these different types of businesses started to move into these types of warehouses. So cafes, less so in the retail areas, they're still there, but going into these industrial business park areas, because there's a lot of people who work in these complexes. Cafes are moving in, distilleries are moving in, online stores, importers are all the tenants that we've moved into our investor-owned warehouse units at our latest project at Huskisson. Okay, so again, these are actual examples, not speculating here. We manage these properties as well. So again, I can speak to this because these are actual legit examples. Now, commercial leases. So if you are looking for a larger property and have a larger budget, and you want something where you're going to have a tenant for 3, 5, 10 years, this might be your best option if you have a larger budget. If you've only got a more affordable budget, you'll still get a great investment product from those smaller units. So the commercial leases, very similar to what I was describing for the micro warehouses, 2 years minimum, most of the time 3 years, because the tenant wants that security as well. Rental increases annually, yields are consistently 6% net and higher for past projects after rental growth. Okay, so buying costs, we are starting to build a little smaller warehouses on the smaller end, again, because people who want to buy them, it's getting more expensive. Property market's grown, and so people might not have as much money as they did before. The affordability of them has decreased, and so we're building them slightly smaller in size as the cost per square meter, our cost to build them, our land price, everything like that goes up. So we're starting price for a 108 square meter warehouse unit, 450,000, up to our larger ones at 1.5. Okay, and again, great value for a tenant if you're a business and you need more space, tall clearance, everything like that. $2,400 a month, up to our largest ones at $7,500 a month. So if you're a business and you need more area, these are great as a tenant. Okay, so if you want to be an investor and own one of these, great product. Great product. So again, some images of this is what our Nowra project's going to look like, but this is a photo of our actual finished ones in Huskisson that we've just done. Good quality, all concrete mezzanines. Tenants love these, heavy duty. They can move in, make it their own. Internal kitchenettes and bathrooms, 3-phase power, lights included, everything like that. Okay, so there are 3 different types of products, and I went in detail because I wanted to talk to you about and help you understand what the different types of tenants are for each different type of product and what type of leasing arrangements they will have, so that you can understand who your customer is going to be and who your tenant's going to be, but also make you feel more comfortable that that demand is there if you pick the right project in the right area. okay? I can't guarantee if you buy any random warehouse or micro warehouse or storage unit that's non-silo branded that you're going to get a good tenant and get a good return, okay? So what are the rental returns for these? So I've gone over them in a little more detail in the previous slides, but if you buy any of our new projects, most of them only are available off the plan because we sell out before construction completion. That's how popular they are. And again, we now manage over 300 investor units. They're all happy investors, all receiving monthly returns every month. And so yeah, if you secure an off the plan unit right now with Silo, we are offering a rental guarantee of 7% for 2 years. So what happens in that 2 years, or what happens after the 2 years, is the question you're probably asking. Day zero, or even 3 months before we finish construction, we're looking for tenants to put into your unit. Okay, the guarantee still applies. Tenant in there or not, as soon as you settle, we start paying you rent based on that 7%. But the big incentive is for us to find a really good quality tenant and put them in there under a commercial lease for as long as possible. So after that 2-year period, you've got a tenant in there already. The lease is already in place. They're already getting the annual increases. We're already managing it for you. They're already paying rent. So what happens after that 2-year period? Pretty much nothing. The guarantee just expires, but you've got a lease in place. We continue to manage it for you. It's completely seamless. It's an easy scenario. We try and make it as headache-free as possible. Okay. And as I say there in point number 2, it's completely all managed for you. I do the management side of all of your investment units as well. So the rental guarantee completely de-risks your new investment. So one of the risks with an off the plan, actually, I'll go through that in a couple of other slides. So the rental guarantee completely de-risks your investment. Okay, so you know from day zero that you're going to get a return. Even when the construction finishes, we're not looking for tenants for you because you've got a tenant. It's me. I lease it back off you. Okay, it may take 5 or 6 months for me to find a tenant for your unit, but that's fine because you're getting paid. Now, again, we've got past examples, real life examples, actual data, because we've got projects that we've done in the past that are real life, showing a strong rental growth. And I'll prove this with data is because our past projects, people who bought off the plan in Wollongong, for example, are now getting 10.6% net return. Okay. That's pretty good in only 3 or 4 years. So that's an amazing investment. And will continue to go up in the future if everything plays out like we think it does. Okay. Again, these are facts. We manage over 300 different properties. So the next question, how much capital growth can I expect on these properties? I'm not going to speculate on what's happening in the future. Okay, I'm going to give you real life examples of our past projects, and then you can make your own judgment on the supply and demand of a local area and what's important for you for your property. But for our Wollongong projects, all the owners who bought are currently sitting on paper-based capital growth because most of them have held, they haven't sold. But the value of their units has gone up between 15 and 20% per year for our early investors, which is huge. Okay, and one example, about a month ago, I resold a unit for an owner who bought early in the project. His unit doubled in value, 100% capital growth in just under 4 years. Pretty amazing. So a Huskisson project, which is again more recent, one that just sold, one of our owners who bought early in the project off the plan, and we've just resold it to a new owner, and he made just over 17% capital growth in just under 12 months, which again is one of the benefits of buying off the plan if you buy with the right company. And again, we've sold over 300 properties. So these are facts. These are real numbers. Okay, I'm not speculating on this. So one other question that we get is, if I buy off the plan, am I buying at future prices, or are the prices inflated? Now, again, I've just given you some actual data on our capital growth. If I inflated the prices that you were buying at now, you wouldn't have seen those capital growths. You would not have seen them. So take that actual data as examples that we don't inflate our prices. Okay. Now, when I price these units up, I've got to consider that someone can come in and buy an older unit for cheaper. And if I inflate my prices over market prices, they're not going to buy my units. You're not going to buy my unit, okay? A silo unit. And that's no good to me as a project. So we price our prices at market rate, and then add our guarantee on top as a bonus, okay? That's not priced in onto your purchase price. That's an added bonus. It costs us money to offer that. I view it as a marketing cost. And if you're a happy customer, then you buy in this project, and then you buy in the next project, and you buy in the next project. Okay. We're not in to make a short buck here. This is long-term relationships for us. Okay. So the market dynamics. So if I buy off the plan, am I buying at future prices? So the way it usually happens is developers like me, when they first launch the project and they're selling off the plan, they sell the properties at a discounted rate, because you need to get a certain number of sales before you can get construction finance. It's good to get a certain chunk of sales done at a discounted rate. As it gets closer to construction, the demand from the market increases. So the price so the actual market rate for a unit of that type and of that spec and of that quality comes closer and closer to market rate. Okay, so that discount rate, because it's off the plan, it's not ready now, someone could come in and buy a completed unit for X price. I can't sell an uncompleted unit for the same price. That doesn't make sense, right? If someone's looking for a unit right now, it's right there. How can I charge them an increased rate or an inflated rate for something that's not there? Okay, so buying off the plan, there are some advantages. Okay, so when you buy off the plan, especially with silo, actually, I'm only going to speak about silo. When you buy off the plan with silo, you only need a 10% deposit on the value of your unit. So in effect, say you bought a $100,000 unit, just for round number, you're only putting $10,000 in, and you're locking in today's price. So that's your only risk in the deal. Now, the contract is set up that if we don't build the unit that you've chosen, you get your deposit back. Okay, so it's completely de-risked for you. It's a limited risk. Now, say it takes us 12 months to build your unit for you, and then we settle. You've only paid 10%, and you've had the advantage of that capital growth over the 12 months. A lot of our buyers in the past, in our past projects, have made that 10% deposit in capital growth over that construction period. So in effect, they've got 100% return on the money that they put in. So replay that again if you need to hear it again. But that's one benefit of buying off the plan. Now, things to consider. When a larger project, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 units finishes, and a lot of investors have gone in there is a supply onto the market. Okay, and if the demand from the rental market isn't as strong, it's going to take a while to lease out those properties. Now, if you don't have a rental guarantee, or you don't get a tenant, that property can be vacant for X period of time. Okay, can't answer on your area, but for our example, for our latest project at Nowra, it might be 5 or 6 months before we find a tenant. We might have one locked in from completion, but it might take us 5 or 6 months. So I don't want my investors to be sitting there unhappy, paying a commercial loan because they've settled on it without getting a tenant. Okay, so that's not good for my brand. I don't want my investors to be in that stressed state. So that's why we offer a rental guarantee for 2 years whilst we find a tenant. Okay, other things to consider when you're buying off the plan: always buy with a reputable developer and the builder that has a great reputation, and that comes with a strong track record. Okay, and I can only speak for us here, but you can go in and look at, and we'll take you on a tour of our past projects to show you the build quality. You can see a real life working complex, tenants coming in and out, moving in and out, how the locking systems work, etc., etc. So one of my team would be happy to show you through any of those complexes. Again, you'll notice all this is real life. I'm not speculating here. I'm telling you about my past projects. Okay. So in summary, if you're looking for a property that is secure and stable, is completely managed for you, gets high rental yields and capital growth, and is low maintenance, then a silo storage unit or a micro warehouse unit or a warehouse unit could be for you. Depending on what your budget is, really determines on which way you go and which product that you go. But we offer turnkey solutions for that. And what I mean by that is they're fully managed. We've reverse engineered this, so it's the easiest investment and highest return and best chance of capital growth for you. And we make it as easy as possible for you. Okay. So if that's you and you want to speak to us about finding the best unit for you, then you can contact us on, that's our website. Please go and look at our other projects on there and our current projects. Or if someone has given you this video to have a look at and they are sharing this project with you, then please reach back out to them and you can inquire about different units through them as well if they're an agent of ours. So please do that and reach out, and I hope to meet you at some time in the future and hope that we can you can get a great returning silo investment. So I hope that FAQ was helpful. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment below or email us or put an inquiry in on the website, and yeah, we can definitely answer some more questions. Thank you.